8:07.
Let's open this meeting of June 30th, 2016. Let the record show that Selectman Scanlon is not present, but on his way. First on the list is the minutes for June 16th. Make a motion, we bring them to the floor for discussion and approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Okay, are you gonna be there? What time in the morning? Okay. Okay, I gotta be here at 8:30. I normally do. Okay. That's okay, I'll do something. Almost, yeah, the rest of the month. This is just a new...
Under page 1, under Pines Community Center, right smack in the middle, where Selectman Jessamine stated in his opinion he didn't want anyone to think that the motion is in any way indicative of the desire to continue to fund the Pines going forward, unless they have made adequate, written, satisfactory, verifiable documentable progress towards the issues that have faced them recently and in the past. I think it's in the future. No? Or yes?
No. In the
Or
past.
take and out.
No.
Then take
in the past.
and out.
They're facing them recently and in the past. No, the ones that, all of these things happened in the past. And I want to make sure that the problems they have...
Recently is the past as well. When you use
If you want to take it out, go ahead, but that's what I said.
It's just...
I'm remarking that to myself, you got all of those in.
How about just take out and in the past?
And change it to facing them, period. Don't go recently, just the issues that are facing them.
Issues facing them.
Facing them, period.
Have we ever done this before? Motion passed 3-2s.
When we asked.
Okay.
Let the record show.
Okay. Okay.
Where it says summer help is a great asset, could we insert his name?
We certainly can. I thought about that.
Right? Told you. He said he was going to do.
Do we know if that was ordered or not?
I don't know. I have no idea. If it shows up, we don't receive it. I hope that's not on our to-do list.
What? Oh, no. No, this is just what was on my desk.
Oh, okay.
I just have to pull out.
It's our cardio exercise.
It is. I just have to pull out what for tonight. This is on my desk. What's going on in the house? Stop it. You have on page 3, under town administrator report, the first bullet, letters of interest to legal services went out. You say what the legal services are for.
You can say RFPs for contract negotiations. That's what it's there for.
Right.
Why did we ask him to contact the city of Laconia?
For the trash, remember?
I don't know. and
Because
stuff
John
like
had
that.
brought up that,
Right, that's what I'm saying, that probably should be in there. Somebody reading this would know. The board will ask him to contact city of Laconia. It's, oh, I'm sorry, 4.
It's in regard to the
Trash
trash ordinance, right?
Yeah, where it says trash ordinance, it's mentioned that
It's the last sentence in that paragraph.
Selectman Scanlon mentioned the city of
Right above it,
Laconia.
it says, Selectman Scanlon mentioned the city of Laconia should be contacted as they recently changed companies. Okay, board will ask them to contact the city of Laconia to see which company they chose.
And Tim will be asked.
under Selectmen's reports, in the first paragraph, with the last sentence, after brief discussion, it was decided to consult with the IT director to obtain answers. Wasn't it decided to ask the IT director for specific cost amounts for storage space?
Well, we also were gonna ask him why, for example, or what we could do to allow, like John's
Android
device
versus, right, okay.
to access the movies.
Any other corrections, omissions, or deletions? Make a motion, we approve as corrected.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, go ahead.
I do have one last thing. The tank doesn't close on August 10th, it closes on August 1st. The inspection was supposed to be August 10th.
Can you correct that, Gail?
Didn't hear him, I'm sorry.
August 1st is the closing of the UST tank,
Yeah.
not August 10th is the
And
inspection.
it doesn't make any difference if I said the 10th, it's actually the 1st. I don't think I said, I think the inspection was scheduled around the 10th, but be that as it may, it's the 1st.
We'll move forward with the motion. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as corrected?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Joyce, you're up.
Plug it in this.
Okay.
All right, we'll do easy things first. After we had decided to go ahead and at least do the awnings, I sent, this was 2 weeks ago, I sent saying go ahead and order them, and then she sent back and said they were out of stock of what we have.
This is fun.
I said, well, can you send me some samples?
By
So
Labor Day, maybe?
we'll have them done by Christmas.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so
This
these are
year,
the
anyway.
samples. It's the same price. This.
I like the white one.
Because this would be much more green, and this looks dirty.
Is that reflective? The white?
Can you see it?
It'll glow
No.
in the
It
dark.
was just the
Oh,
light.
it's a printed?
So I would go
so
with
the
the
white is
faux
printed
print.
over or woven in?
It's painted.
And that one is woven in?
Yes. That's woven in too. It's just a gray woven in.
It looks like it's painted over it, but it isn't. You can see it on the side.
Yeah, I
through
can
and
see
through.
white right through.
I like the white.
Was it white or cream? Oh, natural.
Same material?
Beaufort Forest Green.
Looks yellow to me.
Everyone okay with this one right here?
Sure.
And there's no hurry on the,
That's the way I feel.
I had given you the awning,
I know better.
the estimate to do just over the ramp, but you don't have to decide that now.
It was $3,800.
You're right, because we're going to get the extra strong steel plate put in between the fabric.
We haven't actually voted for that yet.
No,
have
you
we?
haven't,
No,
but
and
that's
what I
still
thought.
hanging out there.
Yeah.
It's still hanging out there. Do you want to take a minute and discuss it, or do you want to move on? What do you want to do?
I think we should put it to bed one way or the other.
Just some additional information, how much snow load that will take. Snow is between 32 and 38 pounds per square foot.
And when it's dropping from
inches.
35 feet, how much
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, about a chunk of ice. And what's the
From asphalt.
warranty?
The 10-year warranty,
So if a chunk of ice comes off and hits it,
It'll skid it right into the parked cars
And will
and
it,
smash in the side of the door.
this
And
is
will
going
it
to be a
dent-
metal
indent
liner.
the metal?
Ice hits it, that's going to make a hole in it.
scrape them
Dent the metal.
fabric? My
Or
thoughts
it'll
were
clock
that
somebody
we
on the
should look
sidewalk.
into building a structural awning piece, like a cover. I don't know what you call them. just like a V roof that comes out with
An overhang,
braces,
yeah.
an overhang, permanent, all season, with roofing tile that matches what's up there. So that was my thought.
Fake slate.
We
Big
got
slate.
an estimate on that, and that was a little bit over 3,000.
Porky gave us,
It was
An
close to
estimate on that.
4,000 on it, wasn't it? To do that?
but we could get another one.
That's what my thoughts were, make it like permanent and sort of match it architecturally. And
What does the board feel about that, getting an estimate for having an awning and built, constructed with an overhang built with,
I'm not in
Shingled.
favor of the big awning, so I'm the wrong one to ask.
well, it's not the big one all the way down the ramp.
Talking about just over the doorway.
Yes, just over the doorway. That's what we're talking about right now. We scratched the other one.
And that's still $4,000?
Yes, because it's going to have a steel plate in it, extra reinforcement, heavier material for anything that comes about under it, over it, I should say.
We can slope everything toward the bulkhead.
But these past 2 winters, since we've had the heating coils up there, I haven't seen any ice cubes. It's just you can see where the snow melts.
Yeah.
And
Not
then the
this
snow
winter.
falls, but there haven't
Well,
been
we had a
any
light
ice.
winter this winter. You really
We
can't
only get
gauge.
those ice when we
Yeah.
have the freeze thaw and lots
Yeah.
of precipitation.
Yeah.
And where it's been the worst is on the front, because it gets peaked. There's 2 little peaks before
Yeah.
that's where we really worry about stuff falling off. Fortunately, that's not directly over the door, but someone coming up to use the door would get whacked. Anyway, okay. And then I understand that the electrician was here and installed the
A new panel.
panel.
And the new, also had some new outlets on the outside of the panel. A new light switch for the lights that are on the stage.
Oh.
The fans?
No, we didn't ask him for the fans. I don't think you
think
did.
we
Asked him
talked
to
about
fix
fans.
so that we could do them with the switch, not just the remote.
All right, I don't think he did that yet.
When he came up and looked at the fans, he recognized that those boxes communicate remotely. When the fellow was here, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
It was yesterday. I had to work downstairs. He said they'd ordered the wrong switches.
Okay.
They would order the right ones.
Okay. So that's a work in progress for the fans.
And also, Gail said that she found out today from Johanna that this one was leaking water.
Well, it's got a broken wheel on it for one thing, so I don't know. I didn't tip it up to look at it.
if the plug's in it,
It could be the plug is in it. Is there a black plug on the outs? The plug is in it, but it should not be leaking. We have seniors that have had them for the last 5 years, and they don't need emptying. So there's got to be something else wrong that's happening, because the wheel is broken right off, so somebody dropped that.
Yeah, but that looks like a new one, 'cause I don't remember.
That is not a new one, that's
That's
been
one of the
here.
old one? I don't
That's
remember
been on
the-
the stage. We don't put them downstairs, they put them on the stage.
Okay, because I don't remember having one with stickers like that on the front. They all look like that. And I noticed the one over here wasn't connected. Is that the one we're replacing with one of these?
That's the one that's, you have to keep emptying.
Right, so didn't we get
We're gonna
another one?
loan the senior air conditioning, just gonna loan one of ours to them to see if it works any better.
Okay.
But she didn't want to put it in until the electricity was fixed.
Okay, so the electricity's been fixed, so we can go ahead and install it.
So Peter has that on the list for DPW to do. All right? One in the hallway downstairs. One of those comes up here.
I haven't heard back from Property Liability Trust, I did send out a letter today. I haven't read it. You should have all received it. That as of today, they're done. And I don't know if they've named a third-party company yet. When I read the letter, hopefully that will have the answer in it, because I never received a response from the claim that I filed. I have my receipt of filing the claim, but no claims rep got in touch with me. So I will follow up on it.
I read it briefly, and
Did it say
can't
anything
remember, I can't really remember what it...
Because the New Hampshire Department of Labor hadn't named a third-party insurance company to handle all their claims.
The one that said that, thank you? It just says it, claims will be processed through our current staff, a third-party vendor, or alternate agreement. So they have not.
They have not.
Named it.
That's too bad, especially for people that are, we don't have anybody receiving unemployment benefits, but I'm sure that all the other municipalities do, and then also anybody has a workers' comp claim, they're like, who do you call? It's unfortunate.
It says service for all valid claims eligible under the member agreement up to and including the fiscal year of 2016, ending June 30th, 2016, will continue through the conclusion of all valid claim payments. So payments will be processed through our current staff, a third-party vendor, or alternate agreement. Alternate agreement, right.
But you would have thought that they would have taken care of that earlier.
Yep.
Okay, the only other thing is, did you get a chance to look at that RFP for the sidewalk?
Yep, the only thing I'd like to do is measure it and provide quantities, that way everyone's bidding the same. You know, and even if it's off, they at least know, because they'll measure and they know right off the bids based on this, and it's actual figures in the end.
I know somewhere Dennis had that,
Okay.
but I don't know where.
Are we prolonging this so long that we're not going to get this done this year? Because I got to tell you, they were extremely emphatic at the Budget Committee. If sidewalks do not get done this year, they will not, and they will fight vehemently not to put any more monies into the reserve next
I
year.
won't blame them a bit.
If they can't
They
schedule them
promised
this year, I'm sure we can get a contract for next year and encumber the monies
Yeah.
to do so. But I suspect
when you
they're
should
going to
bring
be
that
able to do
up.
them.
Then I would think they probably won't add more for the following year.
Right.
Well, they might not get done in
They-
August, but they probably will
Right.
get done in September, October.
If they get done this year, I'm fine. I don't care when they get done. If they get done before the end of the budget, end of the year, I'm fine with that.
This came
I'm just wondering about contractors that, you know, they already have their work
Well, those
scheduled
that-
for the summer.
Those that have their work will just throw high numbers. It's the ones that are still looking for work will give you the competitive prices.
If any.
Yeah. Well, they'll be,
Okay.
the,
If we have
This came-
sidewalks to do in the, next year, we should bid them in the fall.
Well, the guy said Porter Paving is already, thought he had the job.
Catherine, the only problem with that is fuel costs. State projects have the escalation clause, which protects both parties in the event fuel goes high or low, which asphalt, the liquid asphalt's the biggest component of the mix. So whatever fuel does, asphalt's following on the same trajectory.
It's hard to bid that far in
So
advance.
for some of those smaller guys to bid it, they don't know necessarily what their price is gonna be from Pike or GMI.
We put a
You can put it out early.
caveat in our estimates for the next year is that, you know, if fuel prices rise significantly, then we'll add a surcharge to it.
The easy way would be to follow the state's escalation.
So how long is it gonna take you to get to the measurement and put it right, change the RFP and get them out?
Probably beginning of the week.
Beginning of the week?
So is the board okay with changing the measurements and just sending it out?
It's
We
a much
okay
more
with it?
accurate way of bidding it.
Right, I agree with you, but I just,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to wait till next Thursday and look at it again and
No, I
send
don't.
it out.
No, it's all set to go. If you just
Okay,
give me
you just
the,
give
and
him
I'll
the
allow
numbers.
3 weeks.
I'm good with that.
The only,
Okay.
the only thing, I think he had it scheduled to be completed by October 1. I have no problem going. The state does surface up till October 15th, depending on the weather, you could push it,
I have
so.
no problem with that.
Okay, so just change the
Completion date no later than October 1st if we change to the 15th.
and then I'll move the reply date out 2 weeks. Because we need, from the time it gets mailed, I need 3 weeks.
Okay. Whatever you need, work it in.
Okay.
I don't have an issue.
But the measurement, and once that's done, let's get it out there. ASAP.
Okay, so getting back to sidewalks, this came this past week from Stephanie DeRocher. She's the new municipal accounts advisor. 2 things. They're disallowing the $15,000 appropriation that was made to the recycling line, because, remember that was a petition warrant article? And I'll have to go back and look at our public hearing, because I thought we did put in an amount
I thought we did too.
in that warrant article.
It's also included in Tim's report that they got.
Oh, I didn't see his report.
Yes, there's, it's in there.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to, we should appeal this. And then the second part was saying that changing the purpose of an appropriation. I saved all my documentation with DRA and New Hampshire Municipal Association. So we should appeal that because...
I think we should appeal it.
Yeah, go forward.
Okay. Yeah, I feel confident on the changing the name because I researched that. And we sent them our warrant articles beforehand, okay?
Stephanie's new, huh?
Yep. But as far as the 15,000, I'd have to go back and look at the public hearing, because I do remember Scott had submitted an amendment to the petition, and I could have sworn, for some reason, $12,000 sticks out in my mind. But either way, they shouldn't disallow it, because anybody can get up at the floor of town meeting and amend money any way they want.
They have in the past.
That's right.
Plus, it was an amendment to a line item in the budget.
That's right.
So, okay, good, so he did bring that up, okay. All right. The other thing is today, the 1-month extension with Casella was expiring.
It's down there somewhere.
And did he put anything, oh, he did that right here, okay. Okay, so we updated the extension, and they're supposed to come in tomorrow and sign it, and... Pardon me? To be signed, okay. And then I sent you, I got the response, and I didn't get a chance to make copies for you tonight, for those of you that haven't had a chance to read your email. You want me to read it? This is from New Hampshire Municipal Association when I queried them about the private roads. It's quick. It says, Joyce, first, do you want my questions?
Do we have that?
Yeah, I sent it today. I gave them the background information, which I won't go into. But the questions were questions that have arisen. Can the town legally provide and/or regulate trash collection on private roads? What are the consequences for the town if the property owner on a private road does not sign the waiver for the refuse contractor? What if all but one of the property owners on a private road refuses to sign the waiver? What if the property owners don't own the road but only have a right of passage over the road? Would the waiver be binding on property they don't own? As an alternative, can the town designate areas at certain locations on public travelways to place refuse for collection from private roads, or make a container available at the town highway garage for these residents on private roads to dispose of their refuse? And these were the answers. Choice. First, a town is not required to provide curbside pickup to any residents. RSA 147M17. 1, provides the sole obligation as follows. Each town shall either provide a facility or assure access to another approved solid waste facility for its residents. A town may choose whether to include any associated costs in its tax base. Therefore, it would be sufficient to do no more than provide access to a transfer station, which we knew that, and that has already been explained to some of the residents that live on, he says, yes, you know, and I said, no, the town, by law, we don't have to. We just have to have a place for you to take it. Second, towns do not have general regulatory, I think she looked out a word, over private roads. Furthermore, I believe that many towns that do have curbside pickup do not, in fact, extend that service to private road residents. In the alternative, I believe that some towns with curbside pickup designate an area at the intersection of a private and public road where private road residents must put their trash for pickup. We do have some places in town now where people do that because the trash truck cannot get down there.
I think it's Copeland.
Copeland,
The end of Granite Street.
Jocelyn.
the other little Pearl,
Yeah,
the
Jocelyn.
other
Pearl and Topaz.
as they bring it out to Andrews Road. This has practical difficulties but could be done. Access to a transfer station would also be sufficient. On the other hand, I believe a town could include private roads in the curbside pickup route if decided to do so. Third, I'm admittedly not familiar with the contents of the contracts that towns enter into with companies for trash pickup. I'm not entirely sure why Casella needs the private road property owner waiver. Perhaps the contract the town entered into with Casella includes a waiver of liability for damage to town roads, which we don't, never have. Although I don't know why the town would provide such a waiver. We haven't. And Casella wants a similar provision for private property owners. Whatever Casella's motivation for requiring the waiver for private roads, I don't think it would be advisable to enter into a contract with Casella that includes this waiver of liability provision for private road residents. I'm sure she is referring to the town because we want nothing to do with it. This is, they're doing it. It's not in the contract. All we said in our contract is, if Casella wants that, we'll help them get it. But we're not required to get it for them. We're just being accommodating. That being said, particular questions about your contract would need to be directed to the town's individual attorney. I think that last week we were able to resolve ourselves the questions that we had on those private roads. But the next step would be is the selectmen penning a cover letter explaining that our new private hauler, their legal counsel is advising them that in order for them to have their trucks travel on private roads, that they get a waiver from those private property owners. We have the names and addresses, so I can provide the names and addresses, a letter from the selectmen, and their waiver letter, ask them to pay for the postage to mail it. And there are still a couple little hot spots in town that they would need to come in with a proposal to the selectmen saying, we can't get in this space. What we recommend is that the property owners create a space over here, or you can go out and do a site visit and say, geez, there's just no way it can be done here. Then you folks are going to have to take it to the transfer area. But those are minor, and there are very few of those. I would say there's 3 at the top of my head that I can think of, and 4 counting one mobile home park. So,
If we send a letter out to the private roads letting them know that Casella wants this, I think we should at least give them an option that if they choose not to have the trash pickup drive over their road, then they can
bring it to the transfer area.
bring it to the transfer, bring it out to the town road, whatever.
Does that include the recycling? And
Yeah, because we
So-
have a commingled container down there.
Yeah, so.
In fact,
No, I
many-
mean,
Really, it changes the picture of whether they will recycle or not, because,
Yeah, a year ago,
right.
and up until today, people have been getting their recycling and trash picked up at pretty much curbside.
For years,
Yeah.
not just this year.
3 years.
Since, well, half a year in 2012.
So they'll need to provide a space
And
for
the
their
company
recycling
prior to
containers.
them, for years, they've been getting their trash pickup, for years.
But not recycle.
And they bought
Right.
them out.
And I can just see people trying to haul one of those recycling barrels down a dirt road or whatever, a quarter mile to. so
They
that was-
work on a trailer hitch.
I gotta see that.
There's only a couple places that I can think of that may be a problem. And they would make their case to you, and you guys would decide. And
I have a lot of trouble with the amount of money being spent in the contract, and then after the fact, all these people, we need to say, okay, anybody on private roads, if you don't sign this waiver, you're not going to get picked up. Well, our monies still don't change, and it's like, to me, I feel like they're strong-arming us because they sat here in the room knowing that they were the only ones that bid. And shame on us for doing that when people were here. We should have done it in a different type of setting, and just said, okay, here are the bids, period.
That's a
Not
public
name them.
Okay, but-
thing, though, isn't it?
Right,
No.
but the way that came about was when Tim sent them the first contracts, it included private roads, it was no problem. And Dave and Rick had no problem with that. When they sent that contract to their higher-ups, their attorney said, no, that isn't right. And that's when Tim proposed, well, get a waiver.
They told us when they bought out Best Way, nothing would change. Absolutely nothing would change. And everything is changing.
Right,
So
'cause
yes,
now-
it
'cause
does.
now it is a whole new contract.
It is a whole new contract, and now you have, let's say you have 100 people that are disenfranchised, and they can't do that. Do you think that they're gonna recycle in a bucket that they already have to recycle, and then have their bags of MSW, so they're gonna put the MSW in the bag, and now they gotta dump all their recycling into something else and bring all of that down as well? They'll just put it all in bags and off we go. Now our numbers go up this way and the other numbers go
Right, well, our
down.
numbers have gone up anyway.
Well, we expected that the first month or so, but we don't expect that to keep climbing and climbing. Now it's gonna keep climbing and climbing. You know, we have an extension. I suggest we go right back out there for another RFP.
But how are we
Really, it
gonna-
angers me.
How are we gonna get another company to come in and agree to do private roads?
Well,
Nobody else around here does private.
And the RFP doesn't say anything different, just says all roads, all residences, right?
Right. And that's what they bid on, all roads, all
And
residents.
they're willing to do it.
No,
except
they're
some
not
of these-
willing to do it.
except
Yeah, they are.
Some of these places
No,
that they can't get a
If they
truck in.
can't get, number one, they can't get a truck in, it changes it. Number two, if they have like a trust, like where Peter is on Crystal Lane, and they can't get anyone to sign a waiver, now, what happens then? Oh, there's another reason why they can't do it. So no, it's not all roads. There are exceptions to that road, and they didn't let us know those exceptions in a timely fashion, unless they let you folks know that the exceptions, and we weren't notified until a couple weeks ago.
Well, the actual exceptions, that's when Rick and I went and drove around, and he said, well, this one might be a problem, and this one might be a problem. But those private property owners, they asked to make some accommodations, like...
When did that come about, Joyce?
Oh.
The private road ordeal?
Once we signed the one extension, the month extension, we went out.
And when was that signed?
January 24th? I'm sorry, June,
May.
May 20th. the
May.
date on the...
And when were the RFP, when did we go out and open up the bids for the RFP?
Oh, that was quite a while ago, but we didn't actually start negotiating a contract. I'll look up that date. That was way after the...
When did we start negotiating a contract?
Isn't the bid the contract?
No, the bid was separate from the contract.
You started negotiating the contract in 2016, early 2016. There was a lot of time right then and there negotiating the contract when that should have come up.
Let me look at,
I don't like
on
any
number one.
company strong-arming us and knowing that this is the way it is. You know, you got a 30-day extension, but I'm not happy with it
I guess
at all.
my feeling is they're trying to meet their business requirements, and they're willing to accommodate the
And
town.
we're trying to accommodate everyone that's been accommodated for the last 20 years. Since we've had curbside pickup. We wanted it the same. That's why we went out with an RFP.
And I think...
We
and I
wanted
think-
the
and I
exact
think
same
we'll-
thing.
I think that we'll have that,
No, I
except for
don't think,
these three...
except, you can't have it. You can't say, I think we will have it, if there's an exception to it. It's not the same,
So,
my opinion.
so basically saying neither they should reimburse us for the cost or make other type of arrangements.
They've made no effort whatsoever to even, and this extension,
Well,
even not picking up on private roads, even the roads that they can't go down or anything, it's still under the new money. They haven't even said, well, we'll extend it under the old money.
if we went,
It's under, we're paying the new rate.
No, I know, we're paying the new rate, and they wouldn't have it any other way, would they?
if we calculated out what it costs per household to have it delivered, and then we determine how many
Yeah,
households,
'cause now I know the actual number of households. I know where
and we
they're picking up.
determine how many affected households are, and tell them, look, either you can do that, or you're going to discount this amount by that, our contract, until that's resolved. You know, and start a negotiation on the contract, if we can't RFP it.
I don't
have a
think we
feeling
should
we'll-
just reach in our pockets and give them the money and say, go ahead and pick up the curbside garbage when you can, where you can, and, you know, whatever day you can.
Your mistake, our fault, right?
Right.
We'll pay for it.
I don't
but-
think we're saying that. We're saying that on some of these roads, they need more room for their garbage truck.
It's the
Which-
same garbage truck that's been picking up for 20 years.
It isn't that they need more room. We can't, as the town, give them any waiver of liability. We can't say to them, if you damage
And they've
that
accepted
road,
that. They've accepted.
we're not gonna fix it, and we're not liable if you damage it. You're liable if you damage that road. Well, they don't wanna accept that liability.
UPS does, FedEx does, oil trucks do.
Yeah, those are their choices.
Yeah.
I know concrete trucks will deliver on private roads.
Do they?
Yep.
It's a little heavier.
Depending on the
It's heavier.
season, sure.
Yeah. So,
Well, and we're still waiting on him he wanted to review the contracts. He still has those, and he's got to get those back to us.
I am not
Is the
signing
way-
beyond the 30 days. It's not happening with me.
Well, can you wait until we get the contracts back, and I can give you a list of the houses where they would like...
the only way at this point we...
They haven't said yet that they were not, that they were going to stop, period, on any private roads. They're still out there picking up on the private roads. It's just the new contract language was inserted in there that, that we would help them get waivers from the private roads.
So why did we do an RFP?
Why did we?
For the cost.
Because we
If you're
got,
negotiating a contract after the fact, then what's good's the RFP?
We only had
To change-
one response to the RFP.
Yeah, they bid what the RFP asked, did they not? Then they're agreeing to what was spelled out in our specifications.
And that's
If
what
it
we're
said
paying.
nothing about liability on private roads,
no,
we
our
don't need to.
RFP didn't.
So you go by
RFP
what
did-
the wording of the RFP.
Well, that means we
Private
have no
roads.
bids.
Public roads,
They made a
private
bid.
roads, and some businesses.
But no contract, what's the difference between a bid and a contract?
Because you can negotiate anything in a contract.
That's what I'm saying. They've got you strong-armed right now, because if you don't have a contract, nobody picks up garbage. We don't have the, as of tomorrow, nobody picks up garbage if we don't sign the extension. We don't sign the we sign the extension, we have to go under the new rules that they say, well, we're not gonna pick up under certain roads. Well, that's bull. I'm sorry.
The only choice we would have is to discontinue recycling and have somebody come and pick up all our garbage. It's the only thing we could do.
Like who?
We'd have to go out to bid to just strictly pick up curbside garbage, no recycling. And then
Because
you would have,
we know that
there's entities out there that would bid on that package.
On the garbage only.
On the garbage only.
Sure.
They won't bid on it because we have
Recycling and
pickup.
garbage.
But we would have other bids for if it was just straight trash.
Joyce, how about that one that said they pick up in Meredith and have,
they have a transfer area. They don't pay for curbside. People take it to a transfer area.
the one I sent you the
Let me-
link,
let me look
link
up-
to, and it showed,
and I
they had
sent-
all the trucks, and they said they do pick up at all these
That's a
houses?
private company that goes and has private contracts with those people, not with Meredith.
Businesses and the islands.
People.
They have thousands of customers, apparently.
Yeah, that's
Would
what
they
they
be
said, but
interested
they're not-
in doing that?
They don't have a contract with Meredith or
Maybe they'd
Guilford.
consider having
Well,
a,
maybe they would
maybe they
be
would.
interested.
But it wouldn't be municipal, it wouldn't be the town.
Why couldn't we as a town enter into
Why
one?
would we? We don't have to.
Because it might have a better price.
Yeah, what he's saying is see
Better
if they
terms.
would consider getting into a contract agreement with the town.
We're gonna give them all
Pick
these
up
customers,
Private residences.
all of the
Pick up
all of them, everybody.
Pick up curbside, recycle, and trash.
We're not a huge town, might be enough that they could handle, so basically, it's all individuals, we're just footing the bill for
Okay,
everybody.
so right now, when they do that, in Guilford and in Meredith,
They
they're
take it
picking
to-
up from these homeowners, and they're taking it to Laconia. There's a transfer
They're
station
taking
in
it to
Laconia.
their transfer
Or they're taking it
station.
to Meredith, and they're taking it to the municipal transfer area. Okay, we don't have a municipal transfer area. We're not permitted
They said
for
they
that.
take it to their own private.
Let me,
Double check that.
Well,
were they-
either way, when I contacted the town administrator in Meredith and the town administrator in
They said it
Guilford,
doesn't
they
even go
both
to New
said,
Hampshire.
we don't know who they are, we don't do business with them. And I didn't go any further than that.
Oh, well, if we can contact them direct and see what, I think I have to it. That's all set. Did you sign
Is
this?
it all signed?
I think so.
So, no, we just go forward.
The only way we're gonna get out of this bed is to start planning now
Yep. Well, let's start planning now.
for next.
Well, and we have that in the contract. If we sign it, that we can.
So let's just sign a year and that's it.
The,
And get out and start the RFPs now.
I just lost my train of thought. The thing that concerns me is that in the contract, and this has been in that had been negotiated prior, that they want to come back if they find that the mix from recycling to solid waste has completely flip-flopped,
Yeah.
that will open up the pricing again.
Yeah.
And we've agreed to that.
And they'll come
Verbally,
back
I mean,
and tell us that too.
Well, we'll have the tonnage to verify it.
Sorry.
And that's why they were fine with, instead of going from a 3-year to a 2-year, with a way to get out.
I'm not willing to go to a 2-year. I really want other companies to come in and bid. I really don't think we did it justice in sending the RFPs out to all the rubbish companies. I think we should send them out to all the rubbish companies.
But we did, Pat,
Everyone there was, right?
everyone that there was. that could handle recyclables and had the equipment that could get into the incinerator.
And do you know that the ones that you thought didn't handle recyclables and you didn't send out to, didn't pick up recycling vehicles
I even
since
sent them
the
out
last
to
time?
companies that do pick up recycling, like the George, what's it, the Fox, George, wasn't there a George Joe? What is one of the?
Charles George.
Charles George. That's all they do is recycling. They don't do solid waste. There are at least 8.
Well, maybe
sent it
that's
to.
another way to go. Have one company pick up recycling, one company pick up MSW. Maybe it might be a cheaper way to go.
Well, we did bid the 2 contracts, 2 separate contracts.
Well, I
We
think we
didn't say
should,
you had to do both.
I think we should take another look at it now that things have changed and that things are gonna be more expensive to pick up less people in our town. Because now the contract that we thought we were going to sign is not, we're not signing it.
The other is
different.
because we changed the pay-as-you-throw. We no longer have pay-as-you-throw, so there's no incentive to recycle. That was the major
Why
change.
does it always fall on our fault?
Because we changed the playing field.
We did
During-
not change the playing field.
When we
Under-
went
under-
from- No, when we went from pay-as-you-throw to no pay-as-you-throw, we took the chance of increasing our tonnage of garbage. But you know, it's more environmentally sound for us not to recycle.
What?
It's more environmentally sound to send our garbage to the incinerator with all the EPA screeners to be burned, when they will not take plastics and styrofoam, some of the most toxic substances we have. When the process of taking milk jugs and plastics and converting it to a plastic that's usable is also one of the most toxic processes in
That's-
this country.
I do that personally at home. I save all the metal and the glass and the paper I burn myself, but any plastic bottles,
I put in
anything,
the
I put them
garbage.
in the trash because it's better to burn them.
That's right. It's much safer for the environment.
Okay, moving on to the next item.
So did the extension for 1 month get signed?
Yep,
Okay.
it did.
All right, and then they're supposed to drop off the contract so we can look at it again. And I will have all the data.
It's for 1 month extension.
Yep.
So best bet to get it in and negotiated very quickly, because that 1 month extension will run out.
Well, they weren't gonna, if we didn't sign it, they weren't gonna stop picking up garbage.
Just saying, going forward.
Yeah. Okay.
What else?
Rest I have is private roads, the deed you and I talked about already, will be in non-public.
I did call one down by Massachusetts.
Okay, John, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, the only thing, well, point of interest, I did a bunch of kayaking down through Silver Lake and the river, and I watched for milfoil, and I saw very little except for coming out of where the boat ramp is from Northfield. It's very heavy down there. No, we know milfoil spreads, but, so I pretty much looked at all of Silver Lake and the river all the way down through.
You were in Silver Lake and you didn't see milfoil?
Oh.
It's all over, and it's getting long.
Where?
In
The mouth of the exit.
Yeah.
For sure. It's nothing but
Definite.
weeds down there, right in front of my house.
Yeah,
In
that's-
front of the dam, for a fact. All
I was up
over
by
on
the
the
dam.
Over
left.
by where Camari's, that point area, it's
Yeah.
all around.
I went over between the island and all the low area from there to the Belmont side, looked along there. I didn't
I'll
see
be
any.
glad to show you some if you want to come over, and I'll give you a tour of the milfoil.
And I haven't seen the milfoil barge over in Gardner's
No, well, I
Grove.
haven't seen it over at my house.
Well, it hasn't even, it's not even on the water, where I've seen it more than past years.
I'll call them.
Okay, that it? Catherine?
I just saw an email from our welfare director, and it looks like we should be discussing coverage, and she's not available.
Well, I recommend that we go with CAP director there.
I think we should do it in-house.
We have one in-house.
Then why do we need somebody from outside?
In the short term, we'll need some outside help perhaps because Gail is not properly trained. She's scheduled to
think
go
that-
to classes.
I don't think she needs to go to classes. I think she needs to look at our ordinance and read the law, because that's what it's about.
You need to read the law. You need to know the welfare law.
Right.
And it wouldn't be fair to her, to Gail, to just...
There is training for this.
Right.
Because I asked Heather, what about Gail? Well, there's training in November, she said. Because I would rather keep it in-house, but she's not adequately prepped for this in the short term.
I think she is. She's been handling it all this time. The previous person that
What
was...
Gail does,
The previous person that was covering us merely took phone calls and said, fill out the application.
and that's
And that
kind of,
was really the extent of it. The only thing she would say is yes or no if there was an absolute emergency after she made a phone call and contacted our person. So what training is there involved in that?
Heather says his training, Catherine. Heather
I'm not-
says his training.
I'm sorry, but
Yeah, okay.
I have to go with Heather's expertise on this
I
matter.
have an independent brain, so I don't have to go what somebody else tells me. I'm sorry.
No, that's true. You can do anything you want.
Anybody can do anything they want.
Could we pair up with Belmont possibly?
I think it needs to be in-house. We have people that come in here day after day after day after day.
Belmont is the same person over
But
in
what's the
North.
difference, between somebody coming in for information or calling in for information or just picking up a form?
Because a lot of these people need real help. It's like I had a landlord come in today to see me, and he was very frustrated because his tenants have made contact here, trying to get assistance, and evidently there's some communication that they do qualify, but they have more information. It's been since March. He's not going to wait any longer. He's going to evict them. And I couldn't tell him anything. I'm not the welfare person. He just wanted advice from me on how to evict him. He's not going to wait.
So since
So,
March, they
it's-
couldn't meet up with our welfare director?
I didn't ask for details. I didn't want to go
I think
there.
this
But-
would be better served so we can speak freely with other information in a non-public.
Okay.
That's okay with everybody? Okay. Is that okay with you, Joe? Okay. All right, what's next?
The other one I have should be non-public, probably, I think.
Okay, I spoke with most of you about the senior center roof. There were some issues with, once we took the tin off, or the galvanized roof off of it, there were some rot on the boards. So Dan is putting some Triflex and then strapping over the Triflex and moving on. He had half the roof uncovered, and you could see it was a significant amount. I brought Al up with me to take a look at it when he did call. He said he would get in touch with myself or Joyce for the estimate on what it would be, how much extra it would be. Wouldn't be a significant amount, that's for sure. I received a letter, I think I forwarded it to everyone to the board, from the chair of the Budget Committee, feeling that When you meet with the Pines on the 7th of July, I'm requesting that the chairman of the budget committee for both of the towns of Tilton and Northfield be included, since the organization appears before us yearly soliciting a large portion of the town's budget. Any and all changes made in their operations are of concern. Thank you for your consideration, Chairman of the Tilton Budget Committee. So
I say no.
Okay?
You're already going to have the ex officio members, ours is John, to the budget committee there. You're going to have that from the Northfield Selectmen as well. I think the less people involved in these discussions, the better. I mean, it's now the selectmen's budget. And it's not under the purview of the budget committee. But any information that's pertinent to the budget committee can be brought back to them by the ex officio member.
Right. How's everyone else feel? You okay with that? Okay.
It is a public meeting, so they're welcome to be in the audience.
We don't know that it's a public, we don't know that it's going to be in public meeting. Do we know that?
You know, in the topic of the conversation,
I don't believe it's
start
gonna
talking
be-
about
right.
employees and whatnot, it could very quickly go into a non-public.
Right.
Well, if anything has to do with their policy changes, it's better be public.
That's public.
So parts of it may be non-public.
And even if it is a public meeting, anybody is able to attend, but to actually have more
I'm
people
part-
as
To represent,
participants in the
exactly.
conversation representing, I think it gets convoluted.
Okay. I will pass that information on. Looks like it's consensus with that. There was a purchase and asked for reimbursement under the contractual agreement that we have with police. I put it on a hold to speak with the chief, and the chief is going to bring that back to the individual. He waived on signing it himself, but he will bring it back and talk with the individual, so that will be taken care of. All right? I do want to talk to you about something in non-public under police. Joseph, do you have anything? No? Peter?
I handed out a packet of Public Works, what's been done daily, just a little summary of what's going on, starting with the signs. The new 6-inch signs that we ordered for the tree district area, that a lot were missing, those have been going up. So if you get calls from property owners seeing paint on the lawn on the corners, that was for dig safe.
That's required.
So we're starting that. We should look at a SIMS program, which I think is Sign Information Management System, so that as we're updating, we can also put in when they went in, track them, whether they're compliant with the new regs, or if we have to change them over, because I forget what year we need to do it, but we've got to start looking at it.
Yeah.
The SIMS program is just software, correct?
I think so.
We should just ask
Tim?
Tim to look into
He can make
pricing it.
Okay.
Okay.
We can't just put it on a spreadsheet that lists the signs and the roads and the location?
You might.
I can't
Depends on
see
the
buying
cost.
anymore.
Can.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets
No,
are free.
I could do it in Excel.
I hate buying programs.
Sorry, I'm Microsoft.
He doesn't like to buy programs either. But there should be something out there free. Okay,
So, Westwood Drive on the list of paving projects. We've got a couple of culvert crossings we'd like to replace. One of them, we were looking at redoing the basins. Excuse me, however, but talking to the landowner, the reason they're so shallow and small is it's right on top of ledge. So we're just gonna work on the pipe.
you're not gonna do the basin?
No, because it's pretty much sitting on ledge.
Okay,
So we've got two of those. We've got plenty of the under drain pipe. We've got to order some culvert to do that. We're gonna, Westwood, I think they're estimating about a 3-day job to fix that. The rains a couple nights ago took a little of the shoulder out on Ridge, so they want to do some prep work there, so that may be another day or two. I've met with 2 of the contractors interested in the paving bid, shown them the roads, talking to them. This isn't something that's going to be hot on their burner to do. They're fairly well booked, but it'll be probably late summer, early fall.
Fine.
Let's see, sign sheet. Some of the other things to do, they have started doing some work on that massive to-do list for Riverfront, and they're highlighting what they've done. So when they get a chance, they're doing that. At some point, I'll get a route of how they do their mowing. Generally, they do try to cover one end of town, whatever. However, yesterday with the threat of rain, or the fact that we had the wet grass in the morning, they opted to do the cemetery in East Tilton just past the outlet mall because it's so dry. They figured that would keep the dust down. And then they moved to the other cemeteries and stuff, so they are staying on top of that.
And the mower's broken again.
Which mower?
The rider.
Okay.
Either a solenoid or something like that.
Okay, that happened today then.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't. All right, my phone's been quiet. Sweet. Something else to consider, talking with them, even though they have multiple weed whackers, most of them are getting tired. They feel they got one decent one now. They might, if we can look at, and I'll wait till Arthur gets back, because I hear he has a preference for Echo, just find out what model he'd be interested in, come back with a price. We may want to look at picking up one of those.
He did, they did look into how much curbing we do have.
Yep.
And then they did go out, I don't see it, but they did go out and actually measure, oh, okay, on the 3rd page, I think it is.
120 feet, I think.
They have approximately 120 feet of granite curbing. They would need a small load of banked gravel, mortar cement, and then pitch it. So they're estimating that they need 120 feet.
Right. The other question he had,
They have maybe about 60, 40 or 60?
something, yeah, they don't have enough.
They don't have enough.
When Larry was talking, I think you talked with someone at DOT about it, they were talking about the walkway through the middle, and I had said that the board wasn't into that, so just bring it up again. You know how somewhere in the middle running
Yes,
a 4 or 5 foot, we don't want to do that, correct?
right.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary.
I don't think it's necessary
Okay.
either.
No, that's
It's
fine.
going to
I
add
just-
curbing, and it's going
Parking
to add a lot of
spaces.
maintenance and take
yeah.
away from parking
We're already
spaces.
losing parking from
Right,
across the street.
No, what they're doing is the island, as you run it down toward the pump, they're cutting out a slot, so if you're on this side of the parking lot, you can just walk through instead of around the whole island structure. Won't affect parking.
I did talk with Peter. Scott Davis did call me and ask when they do the when we actually open the bids next week and get an estimate of when they're doing Birch Drive. He would, obviously like to be told, because they would really like to replace some water lines going up, a portion of the water lines going up there, and they would prefer a month's notice, so as soon as we know, and also sewer, to let them know if I don't know if you want to replace anything up there. Okay.
I think we've done the bulk of our problem, I think, there. I'll
Okay.
check with Johanna.
So,
The other issue is if, depending on how wide a cut they do for the excavation, you may want to have them put some temporary pavement back, because reclaiming gravel does nothing. Reclaiming asphalt and gravel is where you get the advantage.
okay.
So it'd be like just a trench patch or something.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions on the,
And I got the town hall to-do list that I'll drop off tomorrow. I'll be meeting a third contractor tomorrow on the paving.
So were we going to, yeah, in a sense, so we're going to look for some more curbing?
Yes.
Right.
And
Right now, the priority, John, will probably be Westwood Ridge, so that we're ready ahead of the paving contract, because right now we don't know when.
And that's going to take 3 days. And
now the other thing is, down where that big block pump thing is, the shrubs didn't get cut back there. We just cut the middle out, and that's just all,
we're going to do that.
you know, if somebody can run through there with a pickup truck and some loppers. And the trees, now, the trees at the end of that, the flowering trees, they have a bunch of the suckers that are sticking out
We have
all
suckers
over.
all the way up and down Main Street.
Didn't we have somebody that was going to be pruning those this year?
No,
We had the
we-
tree work done last year.
Last year, we usually,
The suckers should be done by Public Works.
Public Works, right. The suckers we usually do.
Maintenance. That's twice a year at least.
I know I do it on my crabapple trees, and my flowering trees.
Yeah.
You gotta climb up there and
Write that down.
So you
up the
want
stuff that goes.
suckers on Main Street?
Well, typically, we're,
Crabapple suckers.
just tell me when they're doing that so I don't walk down.
Here she comes.
Well, we should either have Public Works do it, or we can contact Paul Rushlow and get a cost. from him.
Predominantly the downtown area?
Right. I think we're behind a lot in what we wanted to get done in Riverfront and what we wanted to get done with some of the maintenance around town. We do have a summer hire. What an incredible asset. I'm wondering what the board feels with either bringing someone on for 5 or 6 weeks to do mowing and so on and so forth, or perhaps talking with Paul Rushlow, who's already an employee, and asking to see if he would like to extend his hours a bit and take on like the 132 ball field and take some of that mowing, so that we can take 3 of the guys up to do the culvert work and the drainage and the ditching that we need to have done.
Is anybody else going on vacation this year?
Yes, Fred's going on vacation right after Arthur comes back, and then in a couple weeks, 4 weeks after that, I believe one of them go back out again. Now, I spoke with Tim and money-wise, and he said, no, we should be in fairly good shape if we brought someone in the $12, $13 range for the 5 or 6 weeks.
There's no taxes to be paid if we subcontract it out.
And that would be like a Paul. I have absolutely no problem with, even, with Paul seeing if...
He has all the proper insurances. and
Right. I
what
mean,
have you.
my goal is to get some of the workload from the mowing and things off of there so that they can work on the ditching, culvert, and the drainage that we need to have repaired, the signage put up, the lines, the painting they'll be painting in July. After they do Main Street, they'll going out and doing the side streets on all the painting that needs to be done. So there's still a lot of work yet to be done on the outside and getting it. And then that's not counting all the miscellaneous things that we need to have done in between that.
For 130.
I don't know why there's so much mowing. This has been the driest year. I haven't cut mine
I
squat
was
for
gonna say,
like 3 weeks.
132
Talk to you about that.
Oh, I cut mine every week.
is
Mine's a-
dormant now, so you can leave it for a few weeks, and depending how it grows, either that person from the public, or I can talk to friends that want to Squam football, we can cover that if they keep the zero turn that's at the park there. As long as they leave us a mower, we can help
I'd
out.
rather not spend any more money if we can, until we figure out, like, this is great. How many hours it took to do each thing, and where it is, this you can build a schedule and schedule people on.
Nice, isn't it?
I was looking at it, it's like, come from.
They got a lot done. They did get a lot.
And I think it's organizational, and that, you know, I'd like to look at it again like next week or the week after and see if we have any.
I don't want to wait too long, because then all our summer help gets hired. That's only, other than Paul. So that's why I was.
I'm running past him, I think, so we know where we're
Yeah,
at.
Paul, you gonna run him the same rate as Parks? Because it's
Same rate as what he makes now, right?
So it's slightly higher than the
It's
12, is it?
13,
Well-
something, yeah.
The Parks contracts him to do some, we hire him as an employee to do some things in Riverfront Park. But we also hire Squires Landscaping to do mowing at Best Pocket and Civil War. So if you're gonna ask him to do the mowing at 132 Ball Field, you're gonna be contracting with Squires Landscaping, not employee Paul Rushlow.
Okay. Keep that in mind.
So I would, you know, it isn't gonna hurt to ask him what it would cost for him to include 132.
So will you ask?
Oh, sure, I can talk to him.
Okay. And then next week we can talk about it again, right?
Do we want to have him take care of the suckers periodically on the
Yeah.
Main Street trees, or is that something Public Works wants?
They really need it down. Can you think that
I would say have Paul do it
Paul
at this
do it.
point.
No, I could go down there with the pair of loppers and have the thing done in an hour. I don't see hiring somebody outside. These guys should know how to trim a couple of trees, you know, especially the real
This week
shaggy
with-
ones down there.
With 3 guys, it's hard to get a whole lot done, so.
I'll do it for free.
Do you
I've
want
been
me to
pruning
ask him
apple
about
trees.
the-
I've been pruning apple trees my whole
the
life and
suckers?
cutting that. If they can't do it, I'll do it for free. Climb up there and stack the branches neatly. I don't
All right, I do have
make a big job out of it.
one other item under, Joyce, in training in highway training,
You hold it up.
when they first came on, did we do CDL, or did they do their CDL on their own?
They did it on their own.
Okay.
Here, Tilton, they
Can't
already
respond
had to advertise, they would only hire someone that has.
Okay.
Are you talking CDL or DOT physical card? Because they're different.
Well, that was my next question, because then,
Our guys in the CDL,
okay, so then what about the DOT physical card,
That's a medical card.
the medical card? So
We
do
do
we
that.
take care of that?
Did we do that physical with the new employee, the summer help?
and I gave you the,
But we don't, but they don't get a medical card from that, though.
no, that's, are they fit for work?
Right.
Then that's not the DOT physical.
No, it's like, to get a medical card, you have to go up to Guilford to that occupational thing.
Yeah,
there.
there's a bunch of them around.
And then it's something like $59 or $69, something like that.
All right, so you want, break it down, so, CDL license and medical card. How and
Well-
what is the cost?
The
What does it-
medical card, I think, is separate from the CDL and what the cost is, and I don't know whether or not we ever did that, or is that on the onus of the
We've never paid for
employee?
anybody to go get a CDL.
The CD,
This isn't a
the medical.
CDL.
The medical card, we
We have.
usually pay for.
Okay,
the-
I'm not aware that in our existing highway employees have a copy of the medical card.
Because they're
Yes, they do.
CDL.
They carry them in their
they
wallets.
have to have it
They
in
have
their
what's-
wallet,
They have
every one of them.
CDLs. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
I have copies of your CDL.
But you can get a
Have to have the
medical card
medical
separately.
card, too. It's separate.
We should get that, and we do,
They all,
the license, but
not the medical one.
Do you have to have a current one
They
in
have
order
to
to
have a
maintain their
current one in order
license?
to work, right. Okay, so we'll look into that. Got
But you
it.
can get a medical card without a CDL.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Okay. All right. That's it for me, I believe. Let me look at my thing here. Just the non-public, something real quick in non-pub. So at this time, there's no public agenda. No, he said no. So I'll make a motion to go into non-public. For RSA 91A:3, we have personnel, we have legal, and that which discussed in public would adversely affect the reputation.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes?
Yes.
We have read it on. To the lateness of the hour, I'd like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the non-public session as they pertain to personnel permanently. As they relate to. Pardon me?
Permanently.
Yeah, permanently, as they relate to reputation of a resident or person permanently, and as they relate to legal matters until such time as those matters might be concluded.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
No, I'm gonna stay here long.
Yay!
Somebody second
All those in
it.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need this. I need this. I don't need that. Oh, I better.
I can't believe my phone isn't